Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are studying Tattvabodha. Just as a reminder, about to conclude the Jiva portion of the teaching. So in discussing the Atma, Acharyaji covered a lot of topics like Sharira Trayam, threefold bodies, then Avastha Trayam, then Panchakosha, which is meant to cover everything within the body and to point to those things in the body and say that is not Atma. Why should he say that? That is because the confusions about Atma starts with the body. There is no confusion with other things in this world. Outside the epidermis, outside the skin, anything, so many things are there. And there is no confusion with respect to those things. In terms of identity, I am not anything in this world, but I am this body. So the Shastra follows that technique of pointing out those things in the body and then saying that you are not those things which you think you are. That's the technique being used. And finally, the student asks, Tarhi Atma Kaha. And so what is Atma? Please tell me. Please be very clear now. Please point to something and say this is Atma. That is the kind of answer I am looking for. So there also he says, Satchidananda Swarupaha or Satchidananda Rupaha. So they're also a little bit shaky because there also is introduced new words Sat, Chit and Ananda. And so not clear still. So it is like somebody saying, where is the railway station? The railway station is near the courthouse. Where is the courthouse? The courthouse is near the railway station. So when somebody says like this, then, this is how politicians talk. If you look at all these these shows where you cannot pin down the politician. They keep moving around. It's like touching this, holding this orange seed. You can't hold it. You just escape. So this is, the answer seems to be like that. Seems to be like that. Because we are not used to these words, sat and all that. Okay. So last class, we studied Sat Kim. and Swamiji had said, Kalatrayepi tishtati iti Sat. Yeah, that which remains, that which is unaffected by time, that which was, which is, and which will be, which will always be, is called Sat. That is the answer he gave. So we introduced the idea of projection, kalpitaha. So we gave the example of music to demonstrate how we project on things. So a word is projected on some sound, some series of sound bites. A sentence is projected on words, and a composition is projected on sentences. And then there is a whole theory made up on these compositions. And there is prose and there is poetry and things like that. And then different families of music and so forth. And so just starting from basic sounds, there is a whole science and subject and subjects. So the idea of kalpita we saw in a different way last class. So the question being asked is, if everything apparently seems to be kalpita, is there something that is akalpita? Then earlier also we saw that the content of time is akalpita, sat, which is what he's saying here, kalatrepi tishtati, yat tat sat. So now he's going to ask the next question about chit. So perhaps one of you can repeat that question. So, Hem, could you unmute somebody? Couple of people. So Deepa is back. Would you like to repeat?
Yeah.
All of you can also repeat. Chit kim.
Chit kim.
Jnanaswarupaha.
Jnanaswarupaha.
Okay. Short question and a short answer. See, now you understand. I think, why simply reading a book on Vedanta generally need not work. I'm not saying it won't work, because there are a lot of words that need to be unfolded. And even if it is very nicely unfolded in a text, misunderstandings can take place. And so we constantly have this teaching and satsanga. That's the tradition. So Chit Kim, what is Chit? And he says Jnana Swarupa. This Swarupa of knowledge. That is how he answers. The Chit is of the nature of knowledge. That is what he says. Now, so we've seen Chit before. We've seen that Chit is the invariable, self-evident consciousness, the one that is not displaceable by any thought. All that we saw earlier. So another way to say it is that which makes an object sentient, that which makes an object alive. From the point of view of the body, because we are discussing the body mindset is complex. So that which makes a body alive or sentient is consciousness. That is one way we say it. Sentient means what? It's a technical word. We often use that. Sentient, insentient. Sentient means alive, ability to perceive and feel the surroundings and interact with the surroundings. Like any living being can do that. That is what we mean by sentient. So we want to now say a few things about this Chit. The body has properties. What kind of properties? The body has a weight. It has a height. Every morning, some people have these weighing machines at their home, and they will keep on weighing themselves. Because these days, apparently, weight is a very big thing. People have become very conscious about their weight. Not the height. They're not measuring their height every day. I don't see people doing that. But they seem to be measuring their weight every day. And in India, you don't see that much. But in America, it is there. This so-called restroom, there is always a weighing machine in the restroom. I found that to be very interesting. Very interesting. What do you gain by weighing yourself every day? Now, in India also, we look for weighing machines. You know when? Before departing for an air trip. Because they are putting all these restrictions, 15 kilos for check-in baggage, 7 kilos hand baggage, like this. And the two overseas trip means then you have to be even more careful. Two suitcases or one suitcase. Like this, big questions come. And these days, people, they are getting pretty serious. And so everybody now has a weighing machine also at home, in India also. But they put weight and then they leave the country and then they put the weighing machine back in the almirah and lock it up. They don't keep it outside hanging around. So interesting. So property of the body, important property of the body, apparently, weight. People they say, malnourishment is there and people don't have food properly to eat. And now it has become the other way. And many people tell me food is available in many countries, at least in India and all. Food is available. There is no shortage of food even for the poorest person, which is a good thing. So now the other thing has to be worried about. Either overeating or eating junk food, and the body is just the uncontrollable gain in weight. So body has a property. Consciousness does not have a property. So we did not use the word property before. Now we are introducing it. That which has no property is consciousness. Or consciousness does not have any properties. Another thing, the body has many parts, avayava. So anatomy, big list of things are there. The body has parts starting from the head onwards, and eyes, nose, etc., and then stomach, liver, and so on and so forth. Big list of parts. Even the eyes can be broken down further into parts. All this, retina and all that stuff. So many parts are there. The minute you take anything, it can be divided into parts. Consciousness does not have any part. You cannot divide consciousness. Number 3. Consciousness is not a product. In the body seems to produce a lot of things also. Hair is being produced every day. That is why people like me have to, constant botheration. After 2 months, I have to figure out this thing is there. So I look for the most optimal way to lead a life. And so, why not take all the hair out? And then at least, 1 month extra, I don't have to worry about this. This is my philosophy in life. And not just my philosophy, it is all our acharyas lead a life like this. They don't want to waste any time on all these things. All this combing and this daily chore, everything. Wherever we feel like eliminating time, we just eliminate it. Ruthless in eliminating wastage of time. Ruthless means ruthless. So hair is growing. We can't stop the hair from growing. Swamiji used to joke. He used to say, he used to talk about, the way sannyasis look and all that. And it seems somebody asked, why are you growing hair, Swamiji? Why are you growing a beard? And Swamiji said, it seems, you see, I don't grow beard. Why? Because the hair grows. I don't have any control over this. Hair keeps on growing. What can I do? But you can ask me, why don't you shave, Swamiji? That you can ask, because that I have control over. So that part, that is the only place where we have some control. So body produces so many things, and nails are growing that have to be cut periodically. And inside the body also, blood is being regenerated. Enzymes are being produced. Even cells are being produced. Like this, consciousness could be produced. If somebody argues, we will say, no, consciousness is not a product of anything. Not producible. Consciousness is not a property. It is not a part of the body. It is not a product of the body. All these three, we say number 1. In number 1, we can put. Then consciousness is an invisible, independent entity that pervades the body. Consciousness is an independent, invisible entity that pervades the body. So every object is made of chemicals. A wooden table also is made, if you can finally analyze, it's all chemicals, which can be further broken down, of course. Body also chemicals. But this presence of consciousness converts these chemicals into what? Into biochemicals. That is why there is a subject called biochemistry, which is different from chemistry. Biochemistry means study of blood, study of cells, study of enzymes, study of DNA, RNA, nucleus, all these things they study in biochemistry. So I did a master's in biochemistry, not biochemistry, biochemical engineering. So I had taken some courses on biochemistry. Very thick books, my God. I don't know if I can study those books again. Stryer, there used to be a book called Stryer, Biochemistry by Stryer. I remember. Thick book, my God. You carry the book and you walk from the apartment to the department and you start hunching, So heavy these books are. So, biochemistry. Now, an example to understand this. How consciousness enlivens the body. Very simple. You have a fan and the fan is inert. It doesn't operate. The minute you supply electricity to this fan, the fan functions. It's a simple example to appreciate how consciousness enlivens the body. This electricity is not a property of the fan. It is not a part of the fan. It is not a product of the fan. It is invisible. And it as though pervades the fan. As though pervades the fan. Maybe not every part of the fan, but we should visualize that it pervades the fan and it makes the functions happen. And it existed before, it exists now, and it will exist even if after the fan is gone. Electricity. Just an example. Now, you can't push this example to the limit because electricity is there, fan is there. They're two different things. It's two separable things. Okay. So we don't stretch the example to that part. But we just to understand the part of all pervasiveness, the part of making the fan function, that alone we use the example for. So somebody asked the question, is there a good example for Sat? So we can only provide examples which from which we want to appreciate certain things. But you can't point to something and say, that is Sat. So like that here, example. Okay, so number 2 is, consciousness is an invisible, independent entity that pervades the body. Okay. Next. Consciousness is not confined to the body. In other words, it is not limited by space. That also we saw a few classes ago. Not limited by space. Even though it appears to be limited by this body. Okay. Because I say I am conscious, but the fan is not conscious. The body, the house is not conscious. And so we need to stretch this idea of consciousness later. But for now, we just make a statement. Consciousness is not limited by the body. Not limited by space in which the body is. Next. Consciousness is not limited by time. So you take the fan away and the fan has disappeared, destroyed, doesn't exist, but electricity exists. So like that, consciousness also exists independent of time, independent of any object. So when somebody uses the word eternal, this is what they mean, or this is what they should mean. And we don't use the word eternal too much because the whole teaching of Vedanta is to make somebody see what eternal is. Correct? Don't know if you appreciate this. Simply saying that Atma is eternal and walking away doesn't help. Because eternal is not a word that I understand. I see it in some books and some people use the word eternal. I have been eternally waiting for you. Okay. So this is my idea of eternal. Even my idea of eternal is time bound. Look at that. And because there is nothing I know in this world that is not bound by time. And so the whole point of Vedanta is to gradually unfold that. And so we try not to use the word eternal. Because it's not something, it's not like apple or orange. You can say, hey, apple, look at this, it's an apple, I can say, and you all understand it, and that is apple. And we can move on. It's not like that. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan Sri Krishna brings out these ideas in a verse. Na jayate mriyate iti. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Na jayate. It is not born. Mriyate. It doesn't die. Not born, doesn't die means what? It is not subject to time, ityarthaha. Not subject to time. Only that which is subject to time, you can say it is born, it is made, it came into being. Those kinds of statements can be made. So, na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita na bhuyaha. So, and also, bhutva, having come into being, there is no such thing as disappearing for consciousness. Same thing, said differently. Bhutva, having recognized consciousness, there is no chance of that disappearing. Why he says that again? Because he's talking about the body. And this body is ephemeral. It comes and goes. And the impermanence of the body is very clear. And so he contrasts consciousness, Atma, from this body. This Nayam Bhutva Bhavita na Bhuyaha Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha. Ajo, Ajaha. I think Dasharatha's father's name is Ajaha, either father or grandfather, I think, I forget. Ajaha. See, these kinds of names you can only find in our culture. Ajaha, one who is unborn, one who is never born. Never born doesn't mean non-existent. Non-existent also is not born. So, but here always is never born. Ajaha. Ajo Nityaha. Nityaha. Always is. Always is. Nityaha. Permanent. Even the word permanent we can't use. Why? Why we can't use? Because what is our idea of permanent? See, you see how important it is to recognize all this. Permanent means what? If somebody in India is appointed as a professor, then that is permanent. You can't remove the person from the job. At least in government institutions. Correct? Permanent. Permanent job. Sometimes they say permanent job. In America, they say temporary job, permanent job. And these days, they don't use the word permanent because they realize no job is permanent. And they may use some other words for it. At best, permanent means you get a monthly salary and you don't need to sign a contract to renew your job every year or every 6 months. That is the meaning of a permanent job. Because people have realized there is no such thing as permanent job. And they say permanent resident also, they say. So permanent resident means you now don't have to You're not on a visa. You give up your visa and then you get a certificate to stay in the country permanently. Okay, even that I think every 10 years you have to renew the green card, but all that is there. So our idea, point why I'm saying all this, our idea of permanent is also impermanent. Look at that. There is so much impermanence in permanence. That is what I'm saying. That is why we can't translate Nitya as permanent. Because then I will project my idea of permanent on the word Nitya. Look at that. Nitya is a beautiful word, and we must give the Shastram the chance to tell us the meaning of the word Nitya. And the way we allow that is by not projecting our idea of permanence into Nitya. So we are shy. Very, I've seen Swamiji and other teachers, they are very careful in using words, and sometimes they use a word and they don't like it, they take that word back. I've seen that, they do that. No, I take that back. And so they don't want to create any more confusion. Already we are confused. And so we don't need to add more and more into that by using words. And we project Kalpita. Already everything is Kalpita. And we have to minimize this. I mean, what minimize? Eliminate the addition of new Kalpita. No more Kalpita. So Nityaha, very difficult to translate. I can say eternal maybe. Better not time bound. Best not time bound. So at least you will say, oh, not time bound means what? You will at least it will make you think. If you don't understand, you can at best say, yeah, I still have to understand what Nitya means. That is good, because the mind is still open. Clarity, you want to gain clarity, and that openness will be there. So Ajo Nityaha Shashwataha. Shashwataha. So in our language, we use the word Shashwatam. Right? Shashwatam. This is not Shashwatam, we say. Means again, similar to Nitya, not permanent. But here, Shashwata means not changing. Not changing. That which doesn't change also is permanent. So here, the attribute of change is brought in. So Shashwata means undergoes no change whatsoever. Shashwataha. Ajo nitya shashwatoyam puranaha. Ayam puranaha. He uses the word purana. Purana. Itihasa Puranas and all we have, right? The Bhagavata Purana is there. Harishchandra Purana. This Markandeya Purana. Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana. Like this, we have a lot of Puranas. 18 Puranas. Now, so this is not Purana. So Atma Purana, Jiva Purana. There is no Atma Purana. But then that word Purana is a very interesting word. Pura eva navaha. It is old, yet it is new. That is the meaning of Purana. So the Puranas contain messages which are ancient, yet they are relevant to me today. Yet they have a meaning which is fresh. That is the meaning of the word Purana. Same meaning here also. Atma Puranaha means ever new. It doesn't become stale. It doesn't become stale. So no time to shop. So we buy for a whole week sometimes and just come, take it home. And then by the time the week passes, we find that so many vegetables are rotten, fruits are rotting. Like that happens. This kind of rotting doesn't happen with Atma. Puranaha, ever new, no change whatsoever. Although these days, sometimes these days, because these vegetables are loaded with pesticides, it appears that they don't change at all. I don't know how. This is absolutely amazing. My God. A vegetable which is supposed to rot doesn't rot. I don't know whether to celebrate or to cry. So it's just too amazing. We have created an amazing world. Yeah, I was shocked. I saw some bell pepper. I purchased a bell pepper and kept it outside. And the guy is solid, like solid rock. It's sitting after 1 week. It doesn't spoil at all. It's mind-boggling, all these things. And that too, I'm a chemical engineer. Even a chemical engineer is boggled by all this. So that's how it is. Okay. So 4 things we studied. What are the first thing is consciousness, not a property, not a product, not a part of the body. Second thing, invisible, independent entity that pervades the body. Not space limited, number 3. Number 4, not time limited, not time bound. Number 5, after death, can't communicate with Atma. Can't make a phone call. It's been a long time since we parted. I felt like calling you. So that kind of relationship cannot be had. So why you can't have it like that? Not because Atma is non-existent. Something is non-existent, gone. So of course no communication possible. But no, not because Atma is non-existent. That is because to connect with Atma, a medium is needed. Like the body, medium is needed. And that medium is not available. Medium is not available. For electricity to manifest, a medium is needed. A medium is needed. A device, an appliance is needed. Only then you can see the manifestation of electricity. Or if you don't have any medium, your finger is there, and we've done all these things. Oh boy. So put your finger in there and then you can see if electricity is there or not. So medium, you introduce a medium and then you can see the manifestation of electricity like that. So these are the 5 things I wanted to say about Chit, which is self-evident. Earlier we said self-evident. You can perhaps add it now. Chit is self-evident. Everything becomes evident to Chit, but Chit is self-evident. Now, after death, Chit survives. So the word Rupa sometimes is used for something that survives death. And of course, Chit refers to Atma. Atma is Chit. So Atma is Chit. I am Chit. Better to say that. I am Chit. So then this consciousness doesn't become some abstract entity. So we need to be careful that we don't make this into an abstract topic. So Atma is Chit. So I am Chit. I am Atma. I am Chit. And the body, the sense organs decline. Chit, Atma doesn't decline. The body parts decline. I met somebody who our Swami Omkarandaji does not operates on one kidney, because long ago he had a kidney problem. Actually, he had a transplant. So he works on one own kidney and a transplanted kidney. So body parts seem to go away, stop functioning, decline in function. Chit Atma does not decline. The mind sleeps every day. Atma doesn't sleep. Chit doesn't sleep. The body dies. The body dies one day. Atma doesn't die. I survive. I survive. I survive. So that is how I claim this chit. I claim this chit means what? That is how I connect with this chit as myself. The unchanging I in this changing body, constantly changing body. So somebody says, oh, you don't look the same that I saw 6 months ago. Well, that is true. But tomorrow also I won't look the same that I am today. That is the reality. We saw that last time. So that kind of change is there for body. And now, all this I know, I appreciate. I know the changing body, Ashashvata body, and Shashvata Atma. I know all these things about Atma, about Chit. And therefore, this Atma is called Jnana Swarupa. Jnanam here means knowledge. And Jnana Swarupaha means of the nature of knowledge. Of the nature of knowing. So that I am capable of knowing, and that knowing is such an important thing, that Atma is Jnana Swarupaha. The nature of Atma is of the nature of knowing. Sometimes the word Jnanam itself is used for the word Chit, for consciousness. So Chit, Chaitanyam is a word that is used for Chit, for consciousness. Jnanam, sometimes Vijnanam also. Sometimes, based on the context. So, Atma Jnana Swarupaha. Now, just extending the discussion a little more. So, Kalpita. I am projecting a book on paper. So there is book consciousness, then there is paper consciousness, then there is further reduction in my mind. There is wood consciousness, there is pulp consciousness, there is cellulose consciousness. All that is kalpita. On what? That akalpita is consciousness. So we have seen that before. And there is another way to say it also. What is the truth of this world that you comprehend? I comprehend a world. I perceive a world. I cognize a world. It's all the same thing. What is the truth of that world? If we say, a bold statement is made. The truth of the world I comprehend is the truth of comprehension itself. It's a very bold statement. The truth of the world I comprehend is the truth of comprehension itself. Comprehension is here in my mind. Which means, just like I gave the example of the book, there is book comprehension, there is paper comprehension, there is cellulose comprehension, there is There is molecule comprehension, there is atom comprehension, there is particle comprehension. And then akalpita chit. Correct? So that truth of all comprehensions, knowledge, comprehension means what? Knowledge. The truth of that knowledge, jnana swarupaha, is chit. Okay? So author here says chit is jnana swarupaha. So sometimes they will say the comprehension minus the object, comprehension minus the object comprehended is chit. Okay, comprehension. I have thought, I have cognized a pot, I have cognized a book. You take the book out, then what remains is chit. Chit has taken the form of a book, like water has taken the form of a wave. That is the way to look at it. Okay. Now how do I appreciate this chit? As we are seeing that. And here Shastram uses a word, a phrase called drik drishya vivekaha. Drik drishya vivekaha. Shankaracharya has written a grantha called Drik drishya vivekaha. Not new to you. Now you know that. You know this concept that when I say now, you will recognize. Vivekaha, a vision with discrimination. Between what and what? Between drik, the seer, the perceiver, the seer, and drishya. Drishya is what is seen. Seer, seen, discrimination. That is the way they translate it sometimes. Seer, seen, discrimination. So anything that is seen, S-E-E-N, is of course a scene, S-C-E-N-E, right? So any scene, you keep the scene there, and what a scene it is, the scene keeps on changing every day. And they say, the mother tells the son, you're creating a scene today. What happened? Scene. Yeah, that also is seen, S-E-E-N. Drishya. Drishya. So literal meaning of drishya is that which is seen with the eyes, but a visible object seen. But here drishya should imply everything. That which is smelled, that which is tasted, that which is an object of my perception and an object of my thought. Drishya vivekaha. And so the drishya is on one side, the drik, the seer, is on the other side. So anything that you say is drishya is not me. We have seen that last class, the previous class also we have seen that. So, madiyaha pranaha, madiyam shariram, madiya buddhihi, madiyam manaha. Remember all that. So, you take all the way star, the farthest object we can see is a star. The star is not me. The sun is not me. The moon is not me. The tree is not me. That building is not me. This wall is not me. This fan is not me. This light is not me. This computer is not me. This body is not me. This sense organs are not me. This mind is not me. These thoughts are not me because I see those thoughts. I am Even though I say I am agitated, I am able to see the agitation. So we've seen all that. And so all these are all drishya. And so what is left? Blankness is left. Is blankness left? Emptiness, void. If you say void is left, who is the perceiver of that void? Let's say you say, yeah, you have negated everything, nothing is left. Finished. I'm just nobody. Void. Shunya. Yeah. Shunyavadi is what? I am Shunya. I am nothing. Hey, to say I am nothing, you must exist. Somebody who is not nothing, okay, let's put it that way. Somebody has to be not nothing in order to say that I am nothing. So therefore, we need to be careful here. We are not nothing. It's impossible to project something on nothing. Impossible. Even the mirage where you see, apparently you see water. Even that water which seems to be hanging like this, even that cannot hang like that without some medium. Medium hona chahiye. Correct? That air is there. That hot air, cold air, all that is there for that so-called reflection, total internal reflection to happen. All that has to happen. Even there, medium is required. So you can't project anything on nothingness. Suppose I say, okay, the shirt is made of cloth. The shirt cannot exist without cloth. Very obvious. At least it must be made of paper. In hospitals, you see, they may have disposable, this, they wear all this gowns and things like that. Sometimes they're disposable. So disposable. So at least a disposable material must be there to make a cloth out of it, a gown out of it. Suppose I say, you please imagine a shirt. You please imagine a shirt. Okay. Now, can you imagine a shirt without material? This is the question I'm asking. Can you imagine a shirt without any material? Yeah, I imagined a shirt. Yeah, I'm imagining a shirt. There is absolutely no material. I'm imagining a shirt, but it has no material in it. Ah, really? So what are the boundaries? Tell me, how did you imagine the shirt? Where is the boundary of the shirt? Yeah, I'm just imagining a boundary like this, with hands and trunk and all that. Ah, you're cheating now. You're cheating. You've drawn a lot of stuff, and then you're saying I don't imagine any material. Quietly, even for imagining a shirt, you must have some mal. Mal hona chahiye. Okay. Some air, something has to be there. Otherwise, you can't imagine a shirt also. Forget about the shirt and the physical shirt. Even imagining something requires material. Thought, material. Without material, even a thought is not possible. So therefore, can I conclude that there is just emptiness? Everything has been negated. So this process is called negation, by the way. What process is called negation? That which I see is not me when I say. That process is called negation. And so neti, they will use the word in Shastram, they will say neti, neti. This phrase is used, neti, neti. Na iti. Taraha na aham. The star, not I. Griham na aham. House, not I. Iti. Deepaha, not I. Deepaha na aham asmi. Iti. This light is not me. This fan is not me. Na iti. Shariram na aham iti. So na iti, na iti, na iti. So that is called neti. So that neti means negating. Negating means what? Identifying things that I can recognize as not me. That is called negation in this context. Neti. And so even when we appreciated that music is kalpita, there is a lot of neti, correct? There are also a lot of neti. Like what? Because we have reduced the entire song into a composition, the entire composition into verses, the entire verses into words. There is really no verse. There is only word or words. That means we are negating verse, we are negating composition, we are negating raga. Then you say, no, there are really no words, there are only letters. So word is negated. Then you say there are no letters, there are only sounds. Word is akshara is negated. So there also negation. So that important to appreciate what this negation is. Negation, neti. So I can't say I am just emptiness, I am just blank. Because even to say I am blank, I must be conscious. Consciousness must be there. Okay, just remember that. Just something to know. Therefore, Atma is Sadrupaha. We saw that earlier. Atma is Chidrupaha. Sadrupaha, Chidrupaha. Atma is in the form of Sat, which is the content of time. Atma is in the form of Chit, which is all these properties we talked about, which is all pervasive, self-evident, which has no properties, which is not a product, which is not a part of the body, which is not confined, to time or space. That is Chitrupaha. So Atma is Satrupaha, Atma is Chidrupaha. And we will see the next talks about Ananda. Ananda Rupa. We'll see what that is in the next class. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayanta Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ